And welcome back to the NFLandU Podcast, everybody. It's Friday, and man, wow, football's back, people. It is back, and it is finally, oh God, it's just so fun to say that. Football's back. There was a game on last night, and we watched it. And I know that sounds so simple, but it feels like a lifetime ago since we watched actual NFL football. I mean, think about it, and realistically, it's been since the Super Bowl, and we finally got a game last night. And it was, I know it got kind of lopsided towards most of it, but it was fun in the beginning. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm Hayden Vassar, as you all know. We're going to recap the Thursday Night Football game super quickly here at the beginning. And then after that, we're going to preview the rest of Week 1 with myself and Mark Hogan. Sound like a game plan for everybody? All right, let's get into it. Let's recap Thursday Night Football. All right, Texans at Chiefs, rematch of two of the more high-profile games of last year, where the Texans won in the regular season when they went to Kansas City, and of course in the playoffs, that massive meltdown that they had. And it was a bit of a question of what kind of Texans team were we going to get without DeAndre Hopkins, and it wasn't good. It really wasn't good, because Chiefs win 34-20. Chiefs win 34-20 after Texans jump out to an early 7-0 lead. After the Chiefs come out a little shaky on offense, so that could be blamed on the lack of a preseason or whatever you want to call it. Texans were doing work with the combination of David and Duke Johnson in their running game. They were getting really good penetration, but about towards the beginning of the second quarter, that's when it became all Chiefs, as the Chiefs put together a 9-minute drive, 16 plays, longest drive of Patrick Mahomes' career in the NFL, cap it off with a touchdown to take the lead. That's when they go ahead. So the Texans defense is gassed after this huge 9-minute drive that takes up the massive majority of the second quarter. Texans get the ball back. They don't do anything with it. Chiefs get the ball back again super quick, score a field goal before halftime, and now all of a sudden they're up 17-7, so they're up double digits going into halftime, and they get the ball to start the second half. They get the ball, score a quick touchdown, and then all of a sudden, what was a one-score game at about the halfway point of the second quarter has suddenly turned into a 24-7 hole for the Texans, and at that point, it was all completely over for them. It was just completely out of their reach, and their offense could do nothing to stop it. I do got to give a lot of credit to the Chiefs' defense that held the Texans in check. The Texans were doing a lot more runs and a lot more quick passes to try to keep Chris Jones and that Chiefs D-line from really getting to Deshaun Watson, but I mean, they still got him for, 4 sacks, got a nice turnover off a Tyrann Mathieu hit of Deshaun Watson that ended up on a wobbly pass, so an interception that set up another scoring drive. But in all honesty, I mean, the Chiefs defense played great, just like they did in the second half of last season going into the Super Bowl. They looked just like that, and the Chiefs offense looked even more dynamic than it did. I mean, I'm going to read you Patrick Mahomes' stat line, 24 of 32 for 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the big story of the night is the rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, we've talked about him on the show a bunch, all of us, Chance, Mark, myself, and we've done nothing but praise this guy for a reason, because we truly believe he's going to do special things, because we watched him a bunch in college, and boy, did he show out. 25 carries, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. Could have had another one, but got stood up on the goal line late in the game. But man, what a debut for the young rookie. He looked elusive, he looked fast, and he showcased a good ability to take hits and dish them out. I mean, this kid is going to be dangerous, and I think that is a great thing to talk about, is that going forward, the Chiefs legitimately have a solid running game with Clyde Edwards-Helaire if this keeps up. Now, I know it's the Texans, and it's only week 1, and you can't put too much stock into it, but still, you're telling me the arguably most dangerous offense in the league with the most dangerous quarterback is now going to add a solid running game with Clyde? Oh, forget about it. Just pencil him in for the AFC Championship game. I mean, good God. Damian Williams might not have a job to come back to at this point. So, all credit to the Chiefs and a great domineering win. They really turned the script on the Texans. They did to the Texans what the Texans did to them in the regular season. Won in time of possession. The Chiefs had 34 minutes, 47 seconds of time of possession. Texans only had 25 minutes, 13 seconds. Texans defense was just gas, but I do think it's worth pointing out that the Texans, they're missing DeAndre Hopkins. And I think that's obvious. Early in the game, you could make the argument, well, the Chiefs secondary is really doing work and the wide receivers can't get open. I think as the game went on, the Chiefs had a couple injuries and a couple guys go out in the secondary and on defense, and their wide receivers still weren't getting open. You know, Will Fuller had a solid night. He had, what was it? 8 receptions, 112 yards. Okay, that's solid, but, you know, Randall Cobb didn't get involved until late in the fourth quarter. Brandon Cooks really was a no-show that entire night. What I'm arguing is they're missing DeAndre Hopkins on that team. They don't have another guy to go to. And it showed in spades. And it really held that team back last night. I mean, fine, you can force-feed David Johnson to prove you were right on the trade, Bill O'Brien, but you need a guy like DeAndre, and right now they don't have one, and I think it really held that offense back. As a matter of fact, the only reason the Texans scored anything in the second half, in my opinion, is because Kansas City took their foot off the gas. I mean, Kansas City scored 31 unanswered points. The game was over, and that's the only reason why Houston scored 13 points in the fourth quarter to get it to the final scoreline of 34-20. It's not because Houston rallied back and fought valiantly. It's not that at all. Kansas City just took their foot off the gas. This was a one-sided blowout from about the second quarter on. You know, it's a good way to start the season for Kansas City. You know, you unveiled your banner, you celebrated as champions, and you beat up on a team like Houston, and you're 1-0. So that's great for Kansas City. And Houston, they're going home, and they're going to be scratching their heads, and they got a tough one coming up because they got to play Baltimore next week. Oh, boy, they got to play Baltimore, and Houston's got to figure some things out quickly. Real quickly, because this was not a good showing. Once again, Kansas City wins 34-20, and the rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 25 carries, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. This young man is a baller, people. Make sure to check him out. Make sure to keep an eye on him. So that was the opening night kickoff game, and now we're going to transition out of that and preview the rest of week 1. And to do that, I'm going to throw it back to a previously recorded segment between myself and Mr. Mark Hogan, and they'll take care of that business. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Take it away, guys.